You're watching Weekly Free Tutorials with Joni Young. Today we're painting Nighttime Blessings. Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited to show you how to paint this beautiful sunset today. Here are all the colors we're going to be using, beginning with titanium white and light yellow. And we're painting on an 9x12 double primed stretched canvas. Neon orange, hot pink, now these are all the neon from Holbein and they're luminous. And this is a light purple violet. It's a neon as well. Here, I'll bring it a little bit closer so you guys can see better. Okay, now I've got some phthalo blue. So let's just squeeze a little bit of that out. Oh, whoops, that was messy. Oh, I've got a little bit on my canvas, but that's okay, I can work with that. Okay, so those are the colors we're gonna mainly be using. I've also got beautiful liquid fluid gold by Golden Acrylics that I'm gonna start off with in the middle for the sun. And you only need a little bit of this. Now give it a good shake first because a lot of the pigment sits on the bottom of the bottle, so you have to shake it up really well. And I'm just gonna dab a little bit of it on right there. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is grab a round brush. I think this is a number 5. I'm going to take some titanium white, a little bit of that light yellow, and very lightly pull and drag, barely touching the canvas. I'm using a lot of paint for this because once it dries, I want it to have a little bit of a texture. And I'm just going to very lightly lift up on either side to make it feel like the clouds are pulling up. Okay, after washing out the round brush, I'm going to switch to a Filbert brush, a medium size, and I'm going to go ahead and start adding the neon orange and the neon pink. So let's begin with that neon orange. Maybe just a dab of the white. And then we're going to begin on the outside of the gold and the yellow. Again, lightly sweeping and dragging, wiggling a little bit. We don't want to bring the orange up too much because we're going to be adding purple and blue up there. And if you mix purple and blue with orange, you're going to get brown, and we don't want that for this painting. Without washing my brush, I'm going to take some of the neon pink now, and I'm going to begin adding it on and outside of the orange. So you can apply it over top of the orange to create another color. Okay, so let's add a little bit of white now. Go ahead and blend that in. Pulling in little scoops. And directing it upward again. So notice how I'm keeping that direction of the clouds in a uplifting, sweeping sort of direction. Okay, let's add a little bit down in the water where it's going to be reflecting. So this is our horizon line right here. And without washing my brush again, I'm going to pick up some of the neon violet. And I'm applying it outside and partially on top of the pink. Now be careful to not cover up all the pink. And I pick up a little bit of white to make another shade of it. So it's going to be a little bit lighter, a little smokier. And there's that bit of blue that I sprayed accidentally on the canvas. So I just picked up a little bit of that and it's blending in nicely. So no worries. And let's mix up a little more of the purple with the white and start fanning it out in diagonal directions and lines and brush strokes in the bottom here in the water. And I'm gonna put that brush to the side and take my largest Filbert that I've got. This is my brand new favorite brush that I've got right now. I'm just taking a little bit of titanium white with phthalo blue. I'm gonna begin adding it right here on the top left, pulling and sweeping and dragging. So I'm starting on the outside, taking phthalo blue, and I'm mixing it with the neon light purple violet now, and this is going to be the darkest color for the sky that we're going to have. And so I'm lightly, very carefully going along those edges, and then if I want it to be just a little bit smokier and lighter looking, then I pick up a little bit more white. But we're going to keep it the darkest around the edges, especially at the top, left and right. I'm hesitating to go for some water. I'd rather just scumble and take my time layering that paint on, because if I use water, it's going to lose its richness. It'll just be too watered down and lose that beautiful, brilliant color. So be generous with your paint. So without blending too much on the palette, I just scoop up some of the phthalo blue and the light purple violet. I've got it on the edge of the very tip of my filbert, and I'm pulling and wiggling. So these are just a couple little tips and tricks for you guys to create better sunsets. But yeah, just fight the urge to dip your brush in that water. You don't want to use water at this point. And now we're going to do the same thing in the water. We're going to add some of that dark color. I just love the color that it makes, that purple and the blue together, the phthalo. So beautiful. So just scumbling around lightly. I'm going to take a little bit of white now and blend it a little bit and just pull a little bit of that through, sort of midway here. Okay, and let's pick up a little bit of hot pink with the white now. So it's not a mirror image reflection that we're trying to create in the water, so you don't have to be too careful and precise about this. You just kind of want to add the color where it's falling underneath the sky, and you don't have to worry about it looking exactly the same. Okay, so let's mix up the two purple and phthalo blue colors together again and intensify the shadow in the water just a little bit more. And a little bit more up in the sky. Okay, so back to adding the purple and the blue. Let's cut in across for our horizon. And a little flick, little tiny flicks up and down, bigger and smaller for wherever you want them to be, larger, or pull and sweep up for some tree trunks. So this painting I'm working on is inspired by where I live in Canada on one of the beautiful Gulf Islands on Vancouver Island. We're very lucky we get to see the most beautiful sunsets almost every day. The weather's just been great this summer, and I can probably hear my dog barking in the background. Yeah, so I've just been very inspired lately to paint this. It's been on my mind for a while. Also, like just in between doing house renos, recently became a grandma, and I've been so busy doing so many different things, but I wanted to take the time this weekend to do a quick little tutorial for you guys, and I thought you might enjoy this one. So the next color we're going to take is sap green. And I'm going to be mixing the sap green with phthalo and the leftover light purple violet. Instead of using black, I want to mix these three colors together. Okay, so we're going to use our Filbert again, or a round brush. And yeah, I've got my round brush here. I'm just going to tap and roll. So watch really carefully, guys, what I'm doing with my brush. You can use it in different ways to create all the foliage and forest back here. So tapping up and down. I roll it around sometimes. Don't forget about your reflection in the water. You want it to be very similar to the top. And then it's smaller right there in the center. That makes it look like it's further away, so we're creating some perspective when we do that. So I chose green and purple and blue for this rather than black because the green will be complementary to the pink and reddish tones we've got going on in this. And I wanted it to be a darker green, so I decided to use the purple and the blue. I just like different ways of, or color recipes to make a dark color rather than just going for black. I'm never really happy with the way black looks when it dries. I find mixing different dark colors together is just more fun, and it makes a more interesting, rich color. Now with a clean round brush, I'm taking a little bit more of the light yellow with a titanium white. I'm not going to blend too much. I just want to dab and pull and flick just to really, really brighten that up. This is drawing us in, creating a focal point. And then taking a little bit of orange and pink and adding a little bit here and above those trees. And I just want to add a little bit up here. The peach with the blue looks really pretty. So to make the peach, I used the neon orange and some titanium white. And I think I had a little bit of hot pink in my brush as well. So I'm just going to dab a little bit down here on the bottom. Okay, I'm going to wash that brush off now. And I think the sky needs a little bit more hot pink. I really want to make the sky pop a little more, so I'm going to take hot pink right and squeeze it right onto the tip of my brush right there and start dabbing it very carefully in between those trees and above them, all around there. And I really should have dried these trees off first, but if you're really careful, you can get away with doing this. Try not to touch any of that green. And very softly sweeping back and forth into that blue and a bit of that purple. Okay, I want to bring a little bit up here too. So what a difference you can see this makes by adding a little bit of neon pink. It's brought the intensity up so much. And of course, if you prefer it a little bit softer, just use less pink. I'm going to continue to add a little bit in the water for the reflection. So after completing this, we'll move on to the next step using a clean round brush, and we'll start adding some highlights. And take a little bit of that yellow, a little bit of white, just even a little bit of that. Warm it up with a little bit of that orange. And let's just do a little bit of flicks in here. And down on the bottom. We can't forget about the reflection down here. And just a little dab of it up there. So we're almost ready to begin our tree. I'm just going to add a few more dabs down here. Okay, so with a clean Filbert brush, SAP Green, Phthalo Blue, Light Purple Violet, mix them all up and get a good amount on the very tip of your brush. And we will begin on the left side, cutting in with our tree trunk. So you'll hold your brush straight up and down, and very lightly pull and drag and then flick for the top. And look how that sets everything back in the distance instantly as soon as we put that tree in here. Now tapping very carefully. You don't want your tree to look perfect. It doesn't have to be the same on each side. You want your tree to be a little crooked. One branch can be thicker and the other side might even be missing one. So that's the trick. You really don't want to make everything exactly the same and looking like a pattern. And you can use a mini fan brush for painting your trees too. I know a lot of artists do, but I really love using the Filbert brush. I find it so much easier and I have way more control with it. I will use a fan brush from time to time, depending on the size of the trees and the canvas I'm working with though. So I'm going to take a clean liner brush now, some white, yellow, a little bit of orange, and a little bit of pink, and just add a few little dabs of it in between those trees, above and below, just to give it a little bit more contrast. And then we've just got one or two more steps to do and call this one finished. Washing your brush off, you're going to take some green, blue, and purple again and begin shadowing. So as I'm working on this today, I'll just let you guys know what I've been up to lately. I've got 2 art spaces that I'm working on. We just moved into a condo in the city to be closer to my daughter who just had her baby. And I'm trying to create a very small little studio space where I'm going to be doing a whole series of miniature paintings. And I'm going to be uploading them all to my YouTube channel. And if you want to become a Patreon today, you can click on the link below in the description box. It'll take you directly to my Patreon page where you will have exclusive access to my videos before I put them public for anybody else. So go there now if you don't want to miss anything. So this painting is all finished. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. I will see you next time. Happy painting, everybody.